Imagine opening your laptop tomorrow, and half your workday is already done. Emails answered, meetings scheduled, follow-ups drafted, reports summarized, and you haven't touched a single tab yet. More on that. But how? Right now, millions of people are quietly giving chunks of their job to AI. Usage of generative AI at work has almost doubled in just a few months, and roughly 3 out of 4 knowledge workers are already using it in some form. The strange part? More than half of them never even tell their managers. It's a quiet productivity arms race, and these illegal-feeling AI websites are the secret weapons. We'll get there. Welcome to FutureTech World TV, where we explore how invisible AI systems are quietly rewiring the way work actually gets done. On the surface, this might look like just another AI tools list, but underneath it's something else. 10 web-based AI systems that behave less like apps and more like a hidden operations team embedded inside your browser, inbox, and desktop. More on that. Stay with me till the end because we're not just naming tools. By the final minutes, you'll see how these sites can combine into a personal shadow operations stack that can realistically take 30 to 50% of your routine screen work off your plate without turning your life into a tutorial checklist. That's the key. And if you work with emails, calendars, documents, leads, tickets, or any kind of digital workflow, whether you're a student, a solo builder, or deep inside a big enterprise, understanding this stack is going to change how the next few years of your work feel. Because this isn't just about speed. The World Economic Forum expects around a quarter of all jobs to change within the next 5 years. Other reports show roughly a third of organizations already using generative AI in at least one major business function. So the real question is simple. Will these AI websites be something that happens to your role or something you quietly put to work for you? If a system like this landed in your workspace tomorrow, would you be excited or a little scared to tell anyone you're using it? Now, let's meet the shadow team. As we go through them, mentally flag the one that would immediately change how your next week of work feels. Number 1. Zapier and its AI agents. Zapier has been wiring together apps for years, but the new AI layer takes it from nice automation to illegal-feeling control panel. You describe the outcome you want across thousands of apps: leads enriched, tasks created, messages sent, documents updated. Then agents can orchestrate that whole chain across more than 8,000 integrations. Instead of copy from spreadsheet, paste into CRM, send follow-up, it becomes one instruction that fans out into dozens of invisible steps. For many teams, that means a single person can quietly operate at what used to feel like small department scale. That's the point. You're probably thinking this sounds almost unfair compared to people who still click everything manually. Number 2. N8N. If Zapier feels like an AI switchboard for the cloud, N8N is the open, deeply customizable version that technical teams treat like infrastructure. It's a workflow canvas where you can plug models into a PIS, CRMS, ticketing systems, and internal tools. Then let those flows run on your own terms. Teams use it for illegal-feeling things like auto-enriching every inbound lead, summarizing support tickets with suggested replies, or rebuilding entire content pipelines that repurpose one idea into many outputs. The fact that N8N has grown into a massive, heavily funded platform is a quiet signal. AI-native workflow orchestration is becoming part of the backbone of serious operations, not a side project. That's the key. And honestly, a small part of me keeps thinking, this used to be the kind of thing only big enterprises could afford. Number 3. Superhuman and Superhuman Go. This is where your inbox stops being a war zone and starts behaving like an assistant with context across your tools. Superhuman already rebuilt email around speed and focus. With its cross-app AI capabilities, it can summarize threads, draft replies, surface documents, and coordinate with other tools where you work and write. Superhuman Go pushes that even further, offering help everywhere you write or work, not just in one interface. Instead of jumping between tabs, the assistant pulls in what you need and proposes next steps, acting a bit like a personal chief of staff for your communication. That's the point. You're probably wondering how long until this becomes the default expectation, not the upgrade. Number 4. Motion. Motion feels illegal in a different way. It doesn't just track your tasks, it rearranges your day around them. You load in tasks, deadlines, and constraints, and motion continuously reshapes your calendar, sliding meetings and deep work blocks to protect your focus while still hitting commitments. For knowledge workers drowning in context switching, that means much of the mental overhead, when am I going to do this, what should I move, what's realistic, gets handled by an AI planner instead of your stressed out brain. It's like having a quiet calendar strategist running in the background all day. That's the key. Part of me still remembers when this kind of scheduling help was reserved for executives with human assistants. So far, these tools mostly orchestrate your existing apps. But what happens when the AI doesn't just move data? It moves your mouse, your keyboard, and your entire desktop. More on that. Number 5. WorkBeaver. WorkBeaver crosses a line that makes a lot of people say, wait, is that allowed? You show it a task once, either by demonstration or by describing it, and its AI literally controls your computer to repeat it across browser and desktop apps. Copying data between legacy systems with no APIs, filling endless forms, updating CRMs, chasing invoices. This is the kind of work that usually dies in an IT backlog. Now, it becomes something a non-technical worker can hand off to a virtual teammate. That's the point. Of course, tools like this also raise serious questions about security, credentials, and error handling, which is exactly why responsible platforms emphasize encryption and guardrails. Still, the feeling of watching software quietly do your job on screen is hard to shake. And a small part of me is honestly unsettled by how normal this will probably feel in a few years. Number 6. Rewind. Rewind doesn't automate clicks, it automates memory. It records what happens on your device, screens, audio, and other activity. Then lets you search and summarize that history with AI, as if your entire digital life had become one giant query box. Can't remember which call a client mentioned something? Need that one paragraph from a PDF you skimmed last month? Rewind can pull it back in seconds, acting like a searchable memory for your work and decisions. That's the point. This power obviously comes with major privacy questions, which is why tools in this category lean hard on local processing and user control. Used well, though, they turn "I forgot" from a hard limit into a solvable problem. Number 7. Mem. Where Rewind captures everything, Mem focuses on what you intentionally store. Notes, documents, meeting notes, and then uses AI to surface what matters at the right moment. Instead of being just another notes app, Mem behaves more like a living knowledge hub that organizes itself. Preparing for a meeting? It can pull past notes, related docs, and timelines into focus. Writing a strategy? It recalls similar projects and useful fragments you forgot you even wrote. That's the key. In a world where AI is shifting value from who knows the fact to who can mobilize knowledge fastest, having an AI native brain for your own information is a serious productivity multiplier. You're probably thinking this combination of Rewind and Mem already feels like sci-fi level memory for everyday work. Number 8. Perplexity. Perplexity is what happens when search stops being about 10 blue links and becomes more like a research analyst compressed into a chat box. Instead of manually visiting site after site, Perplexity pulls from multiple sources, synthesizes the answer, and shows you where it got the information. More on that. Combine that with tools like Zapier or N8N, and you can build flows where research is auto-pulled, summarized, pushed into slides or CRMs, and shared with stakeholders without you manually touching every step. That's the point. In an environment where 3/4 of knowledge workers already say AI helps them save time and focus on more important problems, this kind of front-end analyst becomes less of a novelty and more of a baseline expectation. Zoom out for a second. You've now seen tools that handle orchestration, email, calendars, desktop actions, memory, and research. Put together, they already look suspiciously like a small operations team running behind your screen. That's the key. Take a moment to imagine what that would actually look like in your own week of work. It makes you wonder, when your tools feel this powerful, what exactly is left as the uniquely human part of the job? Number 9. QuestFlow. QuestFlow steps into the multi-agent world. Instead of a single assistant, it's built around the idea of an always-on AI workforce that coordinates tasks and incentives. Here, multiple agents can collaborate on complex workflows, handling routing, decision points, and handoffs in a way that starts to resemble digital employees passing work between each other. It's particularly aligned with the idea of people managing an AI workforce rather than doing every microtask themselves. That's the point. Platforms like this point toward a near future where operations diagrams don't just show teams and tools, they show swarms of agents running under policy and oversight. Honestly, part of me looks at this and thinks, this is the moment we stop calling them features and start treating them as coworkers. Number 10. Microsoft's Agent 365 vision. On the enterprise side, Agent 365 represents a shift from one big assistant to an admin hub for managing many agents as digital employees. The focus isn't just capabilities. It's real-time security controls, human-in-the-loop checkpoints, and protection against things like prompt injection as agents act across email, documents, and business systems. It treats AI agents like staff you set policies for, supervise, and hold accountable within the organization. That's the key. This is a critical piece of the puzzle. Continuous AI agents that run 24/7, but with human oversight for high-impact or irreversible actions, merging the power of automation with the responsibility enterprises demand. You're probably wondering how many colleagues in your future org chart will quietly be software. So what does all of this mean for your actual workday? On one level, it's simple. These AI websites compress multi-step workflows, research, drafting, summarizing, scheduling, routing, into single prompts or background agents. More on that. On another level, they're tilting the playing field. Surveys show that a huge share of workers are already using AI non-transparently, with many saying it halves their workload. At the same time, only a minority have ever been formally trained. That gap between people quietly leveraging this shadow stack and those still doing everything manually is the real arbitrage window. That's the point. The uncomfortable question is which side of that window you end up on. If you build a personal combination of tools like Superhuman, Motion, Mem, Rewind, Perplexity, and a workflow orchestrator such as Zapier or N8N, you're essentially assembling your own shadow operations team. They remember everything, schedule your time, triage your inbox, move data across systems, and surface research, while you focus on judgment, relationships, and genuinely hard problems. And if you're thinking, this sounds like something only big companies can afford, remember, many of these platforms offer a mix of free and paid options or trials. Pricing and free tiers can change, though, so any serious adoption should always double-check the latest details on each official site before making decisions. That's the key. If you're still here right now, your brain is clearly wired for systems, not just shortcuts, and that puts you on the right side of this shift. Would you trust an AI shadow team to handle half your digital workload? Or do you still want every click under your own fingertips? Because the deeper truth is this: AI isn't just replacing tasks. It's reorganizing who does what in the pyramid of work, from manual executors at the bottom to humans who coordinate fleets of agents at the top. And a quiet voice in the back of my mind keeps asking, if this is version 1 of these workflows, what does version 5 look like? Thanks for watching. If you want to stay ahead as AI keeps reshaping real work and real workflows, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. In the end, these almost illegal AI websites are not really about breaking rules. They're about breaking the assumption that one human brain has to carry every email, every tab, every tiny decision alone. And if you ever come back to this breakdown later, you'll probably notice new patterns in how these tools fit together that you didn't catch on the first listen. Watch how this idea connects to everything we're building next. Maybe the real signal of this era isn't the agents themselves, but the quiet pulse of invisible work they take off your screen.